Welcome back to another episode of Blue Belt Combat Sports with your hosts, Zach Mansk and Neil.
So the name's completely backwards. What's up, Neil? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are your holidays? How was Allie?
Solid, solid. Almost up.
Allie's this dog, if anybody doesn't know.
Friendly gatherings. Yeah, let's see the
Yeah,
family. All good. How about you?
it was good. It's good. I watched Mr. Taylor Swift catch some passes on Christmas Day.
Nice. Yep.
But this is a combat sports podcast, not a football
Right.
podcast.
Get that shit out of here.
So yeah, let's get into it. Agenda for today, shit on Colby Covington, and then do our end of the year
Yeah.
stuff.
Neil's
Or
got a Neil's got a gear to grind. So buckle up.
yeah, I got an axe to grind with Colby. Colby Covington. Fucking Colby Chaos Covington, Triple C, aka Triple L. This man this man acts like he's the shit. This man acts like he got robbed against Marty. Listen here, boy. And you're a boy, because you're 0-3. You suck. You suck. Bilal said it best. You fucking suck. You in order to save your fucking career, first of all, your fighting style is boring. You have pillow hands. You don't fucking know how to knock out anyone. All you fucking do is get into decisions. They're boring. You're a boring ass fighter. You just say stupid, outrageous shit like you're a 5-year-old. And you know what? Sean Strickland says more outrageous shit. So he's better than you. He's better at you. He's better at being you than you. And
Oh,
and that fight against Buckley, bro, you're getting your ass kicked. You got one takedown, and you had him on the ground for like a second, then he got up. And Buckley's a damn good fighter. Buckley's probably gonna be up there. He might get a title shot soon. I hope Buckley does. Buckley fucking deserves it. That's a kid from St. Louis with not much opportunity. You, sir, literally have had 3 title shots. You've had 4. You couldn't fucking stay healthy in 2018 with your little nose injury, and you got a fucking nose job or whatever, and ran from Tyron Woodley, and then you tried fighting Kamaru, and we saw what that happened there. He broke your fucking jaw, and you kept talking. He's like, "Shut the fuck up! I broke your jaw." And then you fucking beat what was it? Who did he beat? A 90-year-old Robbie Lawler to get a title shot, and then a 90-year-old Tyron Woodley, and then a 90-year-old Masvidal.
all 30 plus.
How mu-
Right.
how much how, you must have given Dana White the best sex ever in order for him to give you 3 title shots. Like, God fucking damn.
It's terrible.
Like, you suck, Colby. You suck as a human, and you suck. And Jorge fucking put that fucking Jorge Masvidal did us all a favor by fucking giving you that fucking 1, 2, 3 and a soda outside of Poppy Steak.
Getting
Shout out to
out
Poppy
Leon
Steak.
Edwards.
Yeah. Shout out to Poppy Steak. Great spot in Miami. If you're ever in Miami, you go to Poppy Steak. They got a good spot. You have to get
Right.
a reservation 2 weeks in advance. I learned that the hard
Right. The
way.
guy was just eating steaks. Next thing you know, he's getting pieced up.
Yeah, and he claims to have brain damage. It's like, bro, you had brain damage before because you were a fucking inbred.
Damn, dude. Damn.
Yeah, that's the end of my rant. Joaquin Buckley, you will get a title shot soon. You are a fucking monster. You are awesome. And your fight against Nursultan in St. Louis was fucking awesome. You remember that fight, Zach, against Nursultan in St. Louis?
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
great
that,
fight.
that was a
I mean,
fucking
oddly,
war.
a little early stoppage, but it's okay. You talking
No,
about Louisville?
was it a decision?
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Nursultan and Buckley?
Oh, North Carolina Buckley. That was a decision. Yeah, I was thinking of St. Louis. I thought
No,
you
yeah.
said St. Louis for a second.
Bro,
Yeah, I
that
remember.
card was
But
great.
yeah, no, yeah, there's been some good cards this year outside of the Apex hell.
Dude, UFC St. Louis was insane. It was so good.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you got off.
Yeah.
You got everything that you
All
need to
right.
say off your chest about Colby.
All right.
Some
Let's
true
move on
blue
to
belt violence.
let's move on to the end of the year rewards. First one is Fighter of the Year. Who you got?
Colby Covington. See who I have. I have. I put Alien. Now, up there.
Ilya?
Yeah, Elliot. Why not, dude? Elliot had the 2 biggest wins of the year. For he smoked the goats of his division. Yeah, he smoked the goats of his division, dude. He,
Shama.
dude, he starts the year. He starts the year. He cleanly knocks out Alexander Volkanovski in the second round, early second round.
Shama.
Then Oh, you know what? Oh, I should have given it to Pereira.
He had
All
three
right, well,
title defenses
whatever,
against
dude.
two former champions.
No, it's fair. I mean, all right. You say your piece about Pereira. Pereira deserves it too, but I'm gonna give Ilya a shot.
I'm gonna give it to Shama. That's all I have to say.
All
Shama.
right. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I mean, the only difference is Ilya just had, one less fight. I mean, I think his strength of schedule is higher than Pereira. With that said, Pereira had insane year. I mean, it's very
See,
rare that you get three clean title
I
defenses
don't
in one year.
I don't think that I think that Volk fight I think that you need to run that one back. I think Volk just came back too early, so I don't know about that one. That wasn't as impressive as the Max fight. I thought his Max fight was way more
It's
impressive.
I don't know. I feel like that was as impressive as it was gonna get at that point, though. Because I mean, do you think he's gonna come back and look better? You think he's gonna come back and look better after
Volk?
getting knocked out by Mak after going 5 hard rounds of Makhachev, then 5 hard rounds of who was it? Yair? I think it
No,
was
he
Yair.
knocked out Yair.
Wasn't it? Didn't he go like 4 rounds with him though? I'm just trying to say he's in like these long, hard fights.
No. He got him in like the second or third round, and then he
Bottom
got
line
knocked
is
out by Islam.
he looked good. He looked great against Yair. That's not my point. My point is that he had 2 wars with Makhachev. One being 5 round war. The second one he's getting knocked out clean. Then right after
Hmm
that he gets knocked out clean by Ilya. He might be cracked, dude. He just might be cracked. So if he comes back, I really don't think it's going to be any different. And same thing if he fights Mexican. He's just better than both these guys at this point in their career.
Well, what I'm saying is the Max fight was more impressive to me.
Sure, yeah, I'd agree.
Like after Max knocked out Gaethje, but he's like, "Oh, Ilya's running," and then you saw what happened.
I mean, and Max had the biggest win of the year. Max had was viral, insane
Yeah,
moment of the year. Your grandmother be asking about that shit.
yeah,
So I mean, and then he goes and he takes his thunder. And
yeah.
he dethrones, the second most dominant featherweight champion ever. And then
Hmm
he goes and he
Wait, did you say
takes out
most
Max.
dominant featherweight champion ever? I didn't know Jose Aldo was around.
No, second.
Okay.
Yeah, no, second most because he had more. I think he had more title defenses than Max,
Yeah,
and
Max has four, Volk has five.
yeah, yeah, and then I mean Aldo had like 8 or 9 or something like that.
If you include WEC, it's like 13.
Yeah, it was something crazy. If you're including the
You
WEC, it was
have to
like
include
12 or
WEC
something like
because
that.
all those WEC guys came into UFC after.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and they include that, but they just yeah, I don't know if they'd include that now like on a broadcast though. But you're right, it does deserve
Yeah,
to be mentioned. Um, but no, I mean I just picked Ilya just based on
yeah.
like strength schedule. I mean I you could say like Alex should win because I mean he had 3 just clean knockouts, throughout
I
the
mean,
year.
the
But
third one wasn't clean. It was a TKO body knockout.
I mean, I'm not talking when I say clean, I'm saying like it wasn't like early, it wasn't like
Oh,
a
okay,
weird
yeah,
stoppage or anything like that. Like it's a definitive
yeah,
stoppage. I
yeah.
don't mean like getting knocked out clean. That's not what I mean. I mean, he had 3 great wins, but I mean, one of them was against somebody he's already beaten. And I'm not trying to fucking undermine it. I'm just saying, like, when we're looking at strength of schedule, this is an argument for why Ilya has a
Hmm
stronger strength of schedule. He had already beaten Yuri. Jamal Hill was a solid win. And Khalil Roundtree, I mean, it was an exciting fight and it was great and it was a great style matchup, but he's not like next man up, you know?
Yeah. All right.
So that's
Yeah,
just kind of what I was thinking with it, where Ilya had just 2 wins, two great wins over 2 great fighters, where
yeah.
I just feel like Alex got 3 great wins. I don't necessarily think it was over
No, that's
three
fair. All
all-time
right.
great fighters.
All right. We're disagreeing on that, but let's move on. Breakout
I
fighter of
love
the
it.
year.
Breakout fight of the year. I picked Carlos Pradas.
Really?
4-0. Yeah, 4-0. This guy's gonna be a major problem. He's part of the
I'm
fight
gonna
nerds.
I'm gonna go with Joaquin Buckley.
Okay. I mean, I guess I was thinking more, are we talking like debut or are we talking like breaking through
We're
like top 10?
talking, hey, you've been around the UFC. Now you're in the top five, top 10, and you're on that streak towards a title
Okay.
shot.
All right. So debut is a separate category. All right, for breakthrough, dude, I feel the same way. I feel like it's Buckley. I mean,
He
Buckley's
knocked out Lee K. He knocked out Wonder Boy. He knocked out Colby. Like that's fucking insane.
yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, three wins over 3 division stalwarts. I mean, each and
All
every
three
one
of
of those
those
guys.
guys have been top 10 in the UFC welterweight division for like the last like what, 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, more or less, yeah.
And like Wonder Boy got obviously submitted by Shavkat, but Wonder Boy was still winning that fight against Buckley until the end.
Yeah, Wonderboy was doing great, and then he just fell apart.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how, yeah, yeah, no, exactly.
So
So I mean, three great
yeah.
wins. Probably his biggest win was definitely over Colby, just because of the
I
clap
mean,
that
that's the
comes with
biggest
it.
name on that list.
Right, yeah, for sure. And the Wonderboy wins. That's legit. That's a
And they
kiss
gave him
right
that
there.
throwaway fight against Nursultan, but I mean, Nursultan's like 6'3". It's kind of hard
But
fighting a guy who's six
I
three.
mean, who cares? I mean, Nerlzaton's a good fighter.
Yeah.
That's a good win.
Yeah. All right.
4-0 in
Move.
the year. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, a breakthrough for that. For debut fighter of the year, though, we're gonna do that.
Do it.
I'm saying Protas. I'm saying Protas and the fight nerds, right? Prod, we were talking four vicious knockouts. What's Protas? He knocked out Radke to start the year, I think.
Didn't he
Charles
knock out
Radke.
Neil Magny at the end of the year?
Yeah, he knocked out Neil Magny. Okay, let's pull up who it was. It was Leach, Magny, Charles Radke, and Trevin Giles was the first one. He knocked out Trevin Giles in February. This is his first UFC fight coming off the Contender Series. He knocked out Radke in the first round, Leach second round in Australia, and he same thing with Magny, first round in Nevada. I think this guy's a major problem. I mean, he goes from not being in the UFC at all to coming in, taking out three solid vets and an up and comer, Radke. Radke's legit.
Yeah.
In a tough division too. Him and him and Michael Morales, who's also contender for the award. I think they're both going to be major problems for years to come in the division. So that's
Yeah.
my pick.
Yeah. I agree with you. Prada scared me. It's like this. Who is this guy? They
he's
they
just he's ripping
they're
sick
saying
too.
Gilbert Burns should fight him next. I'm like, no, Gilbert's chin is gone.
I mean, that's the thing is though, like you can't be babying guys. You know, like when they're top six like that.
Yeah,
I mean, what's Gilbert? Gilbert's top six,
he's like
top eight.
9 or 8 right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in top 10, dude, you can't be.
Yeah,
You're not getting easy matchups like that. I mean, look at Aldo. Like they bring Aldo back, and they're just like, nah, fuck you. You're fighting. You got to fight Mario Batista, and you got to fight Jonathan Martinez.
yeah,
Stuff like that. So they're not nice about it, man.
yeah,
But no,
yeah,
I think he can make a real run. Yeah, ripping
yeah.
cigs in between rounds.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm literally like wondering. Oh, speaking of which, I want to go to robbery of the year next.
Robert, all right, so Prada's debut of the year. You and I both agree. Robert, hit me with the robbery.
Ah, crap. Actually, I gotta think about this one. All right, let's move on. Let's skip that one. Knockout of the year has to be
Oh my
Max
god.
Holloway and Justin Gaethje.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, knockout of the year is. I mean, there were a bunch of great knockouts this year. That's the thing, and there were a bunch of great ones. But even with that, it's like you just have like this all time great moment, great knockout, great fight. With Max Holloway and Justin Gage. I mean, what else can you say about him? Just pointing down at the end of the fight. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I mean, Gagey had to kind of come at him because Gagey was behind.
Yeah,
But I mean, goddamn, man went out on his shield.
yeah, man.
And Gagey's stock didn't even really go down. I mean, I know he
No.
missed out on a title shot with Makhachev, but I mean, that's what happens when you get knocked out.
Well, that's the other thing though. Gaethje's about to fight Dan Hooker. If he beats Dan Hooker, he's right back into it.
Oh, absolutely. And he could beat Hooker. I
If
mean,
he beats
Hooker's had a real Hooker was honestly that could have been contender for breakthrough fight of the year with
Yeah.
Buckley. So if we're since we're
No,
doing
because Dan Hooker
Colby's,
only fought once this year.
but he broke through into the top five though.
And he had a split decision win. I mean, come on.
Ah, come on, dude. No, all right, whatever. I'm fucking around.
You can't one
Shout out to
split
Dan
decision
Hooker.
win. You can't give that over a guy who knocked out three guys who were in the top 10 in the UFC for the last 10 years in their division.
I'm not giving it over Buckley. I fucking agree with you on Buckley.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if we're looking at you know, just I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Um,
Third place.
it's submission of the year. I think we're both in agreement. Makhachev on Poirier.
Dude, that was a really slick submission. But there were honestly two others that stick out in my mind. Stevie Ray got a twister and
Oh
in
yeah.
PFL. That was really sick. I always,
This is
I'm a
UFC only,
sucker.
sir.
I'm a sucker for a twister. No, it's not, dude.
This is UFC only. I don't watch PFL or one. I only watch UFC.
Yeah. Um, you watched the Francis fight. Um,
Yeah.
no, but I mean he had a great sub over Poirier. So I mean, if we're talking technical submissions, yeah, but U.S. submission like really just shocked me the most, and it was just like holy shit. Was Kamzat face cranking Whitaker?
You know what? Fuck it. That's submission of the year.
That
I
was
take
my
that
thing.
back.
Like, and it's a total power submission. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
normally I feel like this kind of thing typically goes to like like a slick Darth choke or something like that, or Twister is always gonna win it for some reason, or not for some reason because it's crazy. It's one of the rare submissions. But I mean, this is just such a shocking, powerful, just
Hmm.
I don't know, brutal submission.
Yeah.
The only
I'm gonna go with Chimaev.
yeah, you're changing into Chimaev.
Dude,
All right.
because it's
I think those
Whitaker.
those three that we mentioned though are
Yeah.
worthwhile. So we got three co-winners.
Yep. All right. Next one. Robbery of the year.
Robbery of the year, dude. Where do I start? I want to pick boxing.
Go for it. We'll do
Oh god.
boxing and then MMA.
God damn it, dude. What's your pick for robbery of the year?
Hold up. Before I say that, I want to say this. Knockout of the year for boxing was Francis getting knocked out by AJ. That was a mean knockout.
That wasn't me knockout.
Like Francis has never been knocked out before, and AJ fucking cooked him.
That wasn't me knockout. That was a sad knockout too. That's tough. Yeah, he was just in too deep with that. All right. God, I don't. All right.
Robbery of
I
the
think
year.
there's a couple that deserve to be mentioned. So, Jose Aldo and Mario
I
Batista.
was gonna think of that one. Yeah, that one's up
That's.
there.
And I don't want to shit on Mario Batista. I like Mario Batista. But I mean, it was just a key example to me of just the judges not knowing what
Yeah.
effective grappling is. Like Jose Aldo was stifling this man's grappling the vast majority of the fight, in my opinion. And I think most people's opinion who watched the fight. It was kind of a stalemate. Like he was kind of staying on the fence too long, but the fence doesn't mean much, and I don't know. It was just a weird, gross kind of decision where I'm like,
Hmm.
man, like Mario's not going to gain anything out of this. Aldo should have won. It was just a lose. It just felt like one of the biggest lose fights of the year to me. Where just nobody's stock went up.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of went down, and it just kind of made everybody mad.
Hmm.
And also Cyril Gain and Alexander Volkov,
Oh
the
yeah, that was
rematch
up
this year.
there.
Strange decision. Just a strange decision. I mean,
Volkov's beating his ass in round three. Like, come on.
Gain is literally like walking out of the octagon after the fight. Like was a camera's phone.
I think they're gonna have Volkov fight Aspinall in London in March. I'm not joking.
You think they're gonna do that?
John Jones is not fighting Aspinall.
I mean, I think if the Jones fight falls through, I feel like they just do Gain because they don't like doing rematches unless
No,
they have to.
because
Yeah.
Gain is injured. He's got those broken toes, so he's gonna be out for a bit.
How long do the broken toes take to heal?
I mean, he's gotta get surgery, right? So it's gonna be a while. And he kicks a lot, so it's gonna take a while.
I mean, I'd be up for that rematch. I think Volkov took him to the second round, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Um, Volkov's always game. He's looked a lot better. I think he's looked really impressive since his
Yeah.
fight with Padfitch.
Yeah.
That's really when I started noticing at least is
Yeah. I mean,
taking
I
a
noticed it
leap
when he
in
fought
form.
Ty.
Yeah, I mean, he looked great against Ty, but Ty doesn't show up sometimes.
Yeah.
So it just didn't really click in my head where I'm like, all right, he looked good, but like, was that Ty or was that Volkov? And
I see
once I saw him
Vasa.
against Padvich, I was like, oh, it's Volkov.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, he lost to Rosenstrew. Who's he fighting next? Okay, he's not fighting anyone as of right now. Uh, Okay, so who's your pick?
For Robert Lear.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Aldo and Batista.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis.
Dude, that's it's crazy. I know that's such a common answer that I've been seeing going around lately, and I just don't see that as a robbery, dude. I just don't. I'm sorry. Like it's a close fight, but like it's not a
I mean,
robbery.
my whole thing is it's like they should have run that one back right away, in my opinion. Like Izzy did not look good. Izzy looked slow in his fight against Dricus.
He, I feel like that was more Drake's.
Well, yeah, Dricus fights like a drunk uncle at a bar, so it's kind of hard to figure out what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I mean he has those like stance switch rushes that he does where he
Yeah,
just like he's like shuffling, he's like flying forward, you know. I mean he has a weird rhythm to his fighting.
but remember,
And
sorry, go for it.
Izzy's been gun shy. Like
Yeah,
outside of his fights with Pereira, he's been gun shy for
yeah.
a long time. You know, I mean, the latter half. I mean, anything post Blachowicz. I mean, I know he knocked out Pereira after Blachowicz,
He,
but
yeah,
I just feel like the vast majority of his fights post Blachowicz, he just hasn't looked.
he
He
hasn't
just
been the
hasn't looked
same.
himself. Yeah,
No,
like he just hasn't looked right, and he just doesn't pull the trigger. Like I know he's like very patient, and I get it, and that's I get it. Like that's how he's always fought. He's always been patient, but
yeah.
he he doesn't bite on the openings anymore that he creates, and it's become very frustrating to watch. So I just feel like Drake is. So I don't think he looked any different than he's looked, outside his prior fights against Drake. I just think Drake is actually
Hmm.
was able to blitz him because I mean the other guys just weren't blitzing. They just weren't because they thought they were going to get caught.
Yeah.
And Drake is just like he's not going to throw on me. I'm just gonna. He
But
did
like,
throw on
if
him, but
you, this is why Anderson Silva's still way better than Izzy all time. Because if you see, Anderson would have knocked him out. Dricus would have not beaten Anderson. Like Anderson, when Anderson's Anderson, he would have just because you remember, who was it? Forrest Griffin or whoever did that, and then Anderson got him with a jab and knocked him out.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Forrest was like definitely just running it, Anderson Silva at a certain point, but Forrest wasn't like a blitzer. Like Forrest's style, his stance, the way he throws strikes, the way he comes forward, the way he fucking moves backward, it's all completely different than how Drake is fights.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like, it's you can't really draw a comparison, I don't think. You would okay. Now we have a fun idea. Anderson Silva, Prime Anderson Silva versus Drakus. How does that work out? I mean, you could
It's not
argue
even
that
close.
Drakus.
Anderson kills him.
You could argue though that Anderson. Okay, look. Here's the reality situation. Anderson got his ass beat for the vast majority of the time when he was fighting. He was winning against Chael Sonnen total maybe 2 minutes across their entire fight. He would get his ass beat by Chael Sonnen. He
But
got his ass beat the entirety of the first fight, and Chael Sonnen popped for PEDs after. Oops, but still, he got his ass beat the entirety of the first fight
yeah,
until Chael just fucking lost his head and gave up the triangle.
right,
Credit to
right.
him; it's one of the greatest comebacks of all time.
The
But
greatest.
yeah, and then you look at Anderson in the second fight. And second fight, it's a very similar thing. First round, Chael's controlling him on the ground the entire time. It looks exactly like the first fight. He just takes him down. He's just bullying him, beating the shit out of him, doing his thing, doing Chael Sonn's thing.
But can we agree that Chael Sonnen or Dricus is not the wrestler that Chael Sonnen was? Like Anderson had great takedown defense. Just Chael is that good at wrestling, and DDP is not that level of a wrestler.
Anderson struggled with the power of Chael Sonnen.
Mm.
Like the power, like it, Chael was so strong because he was so fucking juiced.
He had more
I
juice than
mean,
Tropicana.
dude, when you watch that fight, I mean, he shoots on Anderson, he fucking slams him up back into the cage, and he
Yeah.
throws him to the ground, and he pulls him out of the ground, and all that. And Drakus is, I think, in a similar boat
Oh yeah.
where Drakus, I mean, his blitzes, it's people are backing up because it fucking hurts. You're gonna go down. That's the problem. And it's not like a drunken blitz. It's like and I don't know too much about it, but it's like an African style of fighting. Like it's an actual style of fighting that he's using. It's not like a he's like you watch him slow, he's like switching stances. It's cool what he's doing, right? And so guys don't really know what the fuck to do with that because that's not a very common style, at least not that's implemented successfully in the Western circuit.
Fuck the West.
So
Drickus is like fuck the
okay,
West. I'm gonna fight like myself.
we're still talking about Drake versus Anderson. So in my opinion, I think Drake could really give Anderson major problems because he has much better head movement than or not. I wouldn't maybe not head movement, but he has much better movement and composure than I think a lot of the opponents in Anderson Silva would generally fight. And when he would fight guys with that, he would he would get put on his back. Like Travis Lutter was beating the hell out of him. Um, Chael Sonnen, of course. We
You mean the
Chris Weidman
GOAT?
event. Chris Weidman won the first round against him.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Weidman won the first round against him by taking him down. I mean, it was more of like a trip, kind of just grabbed him by his leg and pulled him to the ground. It wasn't really like a power double. Still, I mean, Anderson was beatable. Anderson had glaring holes. There was just nobody
Hmm.
that could get past his striking. Where I feel like now guys striking everybody's striking is elevated to such a degree that more guys could give Anderson problems, and I think a lot of people would like to admit.
Yep. Yep, for sure. All right. So you picked Batista for Rubber of the Year?
Yeah, in conclusion,
Okay,
Mario
I
Batista.
picked the Strickland Drickus fight. Okay. Cool. I guess that was everything on the agenda I had.
Can we go back to KO of the year, dude? We just glossed over KO of the year like it was nothing.
All right, before we do that, we got one last one.
All right.
Most disappointing fighter of the year.
I mean, I think we got to give it to the man in the hour, Colby Covington. I don't
You
know who I'd
know?
pick for disappointing. I mean, I feel like he was disappointing, more disappointing last year, just because of how he performed against Leon
Yeah.
and the build up to that. This
Yeah.
year was coming off of that. What
Yeah.
are you gonna say? Who are you thinking?
Uh, yeah, I gotta think about this one. You know what? I'm gonna say Usman. Usman didn't fight at all, and I was disappointed.
Oh, giving awards out to guys who haven't even fought.
Come on, Kamaru should have fought. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Disappointing fighter of the year. I mean, I think the most disappointing fighter of the year this year was unfortunately John Jones. I mean, we're dealing with a completely absurd situation in the heavyweight division with Tom Aspinall. Just
Dude, here's the thing. John's gonna keep holding the belt. Tom's gonna probably fight two times. He's probably gonna fight in London in March. I'm betting you $100. He fights in London in March. He's gonna probably fight, I don't know, Volkov or whoever the fuck in March. And then he's probably gonna fight again in July or August, whenever they have the next event in London. Whenever they have an event in London, he's always fighting. So I think he'll fight probably in London in March and then again in July or August. And neither one of those times will be John Jones. I think he's gonna probably fight Volkov and then he'll probably fight I want to say Almeida. Fuck it. He'll fight.
John, I don't think John would fight him in fight John would for if even if John fights him, he's not fighting him in the UK.
No, but John's not gonna fight him in general. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, and to clarify what I'm saying here, he looked great against Stipe. I mean, he had
Yeah.
a great knockout, great highlight. He looked good, cool. But I mean, just the situation with Tom Aspinall is just so insane. Like it's impossible to explain to people who are out of loop with this sport. Like, yeah, you have two champions, one was injured, and then this shit comes along. It's just the way he talks about Aspinall, like he just doesn't deserve his title shot. As if
Yeah.
I mean, John or Tom Aspinall at this point in his career accomplished as much as John Jones when John Jones was, at the same point in his career, like 8 fights in or whatever. I mean, Tom has had an astronomical rise, the same way John Jones had. I mean, you just look at it; just wasn't a good look for like martial arts. Like it just didn't, or I don't know. I don't think it reflects poorly in martial arts, but there was just no fucking like honor, dude. Like it was just clearly the wrong thing to do to blow off Tom Aspinall. It was the interim champion. It was best young heavyweight that's been around in fucking decade. I mean, it's the
Since
best guy, but
since Kane.
I mean, the best guy since like, I mean, you can say Francis too. like Kane, Francis, Stipe, he's in that
Well, yeah, but
space.
Stipe when he
Sti
got when Stipe was on
Stipe was a
his
sleeper. Stipe was a sleeper.
when
Stipe was like
Stipe
a
was on his
slow,
rise though, he was like 32, 33. Tom's only like 28, 29. Like he's not in his prime yet.
right, right. No, I hear you. That's what I'm saying though. It's like he's younger than these guys who have been
Yeah.
coming up.
I mean,
So like you look
yeah.
at so it's like, all right, you're dealing with a guy who's uh, all things considered the best and youngest champion that you've had, or your top contender, or your interim champion that you've
He
had in Tom Aspinall.
he reminds
He's
me of a young Frank Mir.
it's just yeah. He did same here. He kind of looks like him too, which like really kind of doesn't
Yeah.
do any favors to the comparison. But it's just a ridiculous situation, man. I'm like struggling to find the words for it, just because it's like you have just this obvious fight with the best young heavyweight that you've had in a fucking decade and a half, and you have a champion who's going around saying he's the best of all time, and he probably should be, if not considering that he's the biggest fucking cheat in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
It was just like a gross situation. You just like have this entitled, I don't know, holier than thou attitude coming out of John Jones like the entire year. And meanwhile, Tom Aspinall's, I mean, he defended his title, which I think that's the best thing he could have done this year is defend against Curtis Blades. I think that
Yeah.
really put himself over.
Yeah.
But man, I just look at it and it's frustrating because I'm looking at this like you could have had at Madison Square Garden, you could have had Tom Aspinall fighting John Jones for the heavyweight title. You could have had that at MSG, regardless of how good the John Jones Stipe fight was and how much money that made. Aspinall and Jones would have made so much more money. It would have brought in way more attention. It would have been the biggest fucking fight of the year.
Hmm.
So I think that was the most disappointing thing, just how that whole thing played out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right. I think that's the podcast. That's everything we had. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Shout out to 2024.
Yeah. Great year. Also, we glanced over boxing. So actually, I lied. Let's finish up boxing's most
I
important
mean,
knockout of the year.
I don't know if I could give, a great list because I mean, I watch boxing pretty casually compared to mixed martial arts. But I mean, I think this thing that stuck out to me this year in the boxing space was Artur Beterbiev taken out, or not taken out, but beating Dimitri Bivol. I think it was I don't know if it was a
Was it a
split decision.
knockout? I thought it was a split
No,
decision.
it was a decision. I think it was a split decision actually.
Yeah.
But they're doing a rematch. But I think that was a great moment of the year. That was, I mean, it was just like a really, I thought it was
Oh,
really cool, just like chess match of like
I
two of the top guys in their division going at it. I thought that was great.
I got I
Um,
got two out of pocket moments of the year. When that guy, who was that guy? Grant Dawson. He's like, you can bounce a quarter off my wife's dump truck.
yeah,
And then Dmitry Bivol's ex-wife was telling him, Dmitry, you lost in the boxing ring. Now I take you to court and make you lose there.
yeah. I think that was his ex-wife or something like
Yeah.
that. I think he was already separated from her. I think Bivol had some issues going on, like just outside of boxing, but.
Hmm.
It was a tough decision loss though, and they're going to do a rematch. But I think it was a really great chess match. I think that was a great moment for boxing, just because you have the two best guys. That's what boxing really needs to get a foothold back as
Hmm.
a premier entertainment. Um, I mean the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fights were fantastic.
Dude, two great fights. Like we were blessed this year with all these heavyweight boxing fights.
I mean, I think no Francis fought Fury last year. He fought Anthony Joshua this year. That was kind of a tough moment. Um,
But that's
Oh,
another
you know
good
what, dude?
heavyweight
Can I go
fight.
back? We gotta go back one last
Wait,
fucking thing.
AJ and Daniel Dubois.
Oh, AJ and Daniel Dubois. That's that's yeah. That deserves to be mentioned.
Dude, all these heavyweights are fighting each other now. This is awesome.
Heavyweight boxing was great this year.
Is this a renaissance of sorts?
No, boxing can if boxing gets their broadcasting in check, I think it could really do something. But there's guys that you know just didn't fight nearly enough this year, like Gervonta Davis. I think he fought only once against somebody that no one really cared about, and Frank
Hmm.
Martin this year. No
He
disrespect to Frank
fought?
Martin. Yeah, he fought Frank Martin. He
Oh,
knocked out Frank Martin. Frank Martin's good.
Wait,
That's not who Tank should be fighting.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
keep.
Ryan Garcia.
I was gonna
Ryan
say
Garcia.
Ryan Garcia for most out of pocket of the year when he knocked out or when he knocked down Devin Haney and then got caught with the
Yeah,
PEDs.
I mean that was. Yeah, I mean that was a crazy upset.
I loved it. It was so
Granted, that got.
entertaining.
I mean, it all got called back, of course, but I mean that was a great,
Hmm.
in the moment type of thing. But I mean, he's completely lost his head. If we're going to give out a most disappointing award in boxing, it's going to go to Ryan Garcia this year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like Bud Crawford only fought once. Canelo's fighting guys he shouldn't be fighting. So I mean, there's just certain things I think are holding him back. But the great moments of the year, I think, were Bivol, heavyweights, or
Yeah.
better be even Bivol
Yep.
heavyweights and all that. So.
Cool. All right. That is the official end of the podcast.